Я не знаю, я думаю, конечно, что Арман должен был драться за пояс. Но, не знаю, вот сейчас, если Арман, будем честны, Арман сейчас не подерется. Подерется Пинглет с Гейджи, кто бы из них не выиграл, подерутся с Тапури. Это еще год должен Арман выстаивать. Я на интервью говорил, что с Усманом хочу подраться. Что-то медиа не верит в этот бой, я смотрю. Но мое личное мнение, Усман переедет этих всех пацанов, которые сейчас новые появились там. Тот же Моралес, тот же вот этот Пратес ударник.
Islam Makhachev has once again cleared his stand. So here's what just dropped. Islam is calling for Kamaru Usman as his next opponent. And this isn't some throwaway comment either. He's looking at Usman as literally the most dangerous fight in the welterweight division right now. Now here's where his thinking gets really compelling. While everyone's questioning this matchup, Islam has this unique take on things. He honestly believes Usman would steamroll through all these rising contenders without breaking a sweat. And when you break it down, his reasoning actually holds water.
Кто в идеале твой следующий соперник?
Я на интервью говорил, что с Усманом хочу подраться. Что-то медиа не верит в этот бой, я смотрю. Но мое личное мнение, Усман переедет этих всех пацанов, которые сейчас новые появились там. Тот же Моралес, тот же вот этот Пратес ударник. Это пацаны не проверенные еще. И я думаю, что Усман не самый тяжелый бой был бы для меня. И в медийном плане мы смогли бы, как бывший чемпион, больше всего защит в моем весе. И не смогли бы как-то хорошо продвинуть этот бой и показать тоже красивый бой.
The way Makhachev sees it, these newer fighters coming up haven't been battle-tested yet. They haven't gone through that championship-level fire that really shows what you're made of. And that's precisely why he views Usman as the toughest available fight for him right now. This isn't about taking the easy road. This is about hunting down the most dangerous predator in the division.
Вариантов много, если честно, на мой вес сейчас как-то ожил welterweight. Я думаю, сейчас вариантов очень много. Посмотрим, я вообще, мне без разницы. И все должны предложить скоро. Я сказал, если им бы не было без разницы, потому что я чувствую, что я смогу долго в этом весе себя пояс сохранить и себя там комфортно чувствовать.
Islam Makhachev openly acknowledges the welterweight division is packed with possibilities right now, and honestly, the whole landscape feels wide open at this moment. He sees the division as completely loaded with choices, which puts him in an incredible spot as champion. And what really stands out about his approach is this. He's not worried whatsoever about who the UFC puts in front of him next, like he's not over there trying to handpick fights or duck certain matchups. He's already told the company straight up that any fighter works for him, and that's a pretty fearless declaration when you consider the assassins roaming this division. His approach is simple, but deadly effective. He wants to plant his flag at this weight class for years to come, defend his title extensively, and the crucial part is that he feels completely at home competing here. That comfort factor is everything, because it shows he's not just stopping by welterweight for a money fight, he's moving in permanently to rule with an iron fist.
Como é que é você, assim, em termos de confiança? Você acredita que a próxima luta vai ser pelo cinturão? Você acha que vai precisar
Eu
mais uma rodada?
acredito que se o Kamaru lutar pelo cinturão, eu tenho que fazer mais uma luta. Se não for o Kamaru, não acredito muito que vai ser.
Você acha que só ele pode falar da Fiona?
Acho que sim. Pelo que eu tô ouvindo aí, acho que sim.
E o que você acha dessa possibilidade de Kamaru Usman disputar o cinturão? Ele é mais campeão, ele tem nome e tal, mas...
Mano. Tem muita coisa envolvida, né, mano? Tem o que o Makhachev quer, os dois são mesmo empresário. O cara já é um dos maiores de todos os tempos aí da categoria, pra mim o maior. Então, o que vier vai ser bem feito. Eu acredito que, se não for essa luta de cinturão, eu vou fazer mais uma e vou.
E você acha que o Usman tem alguma chance de vencer o cinturão, ou você acha que é uma rodada fácil pro Makhachev?
At the same time, Shavkat Rakhmonov is targeting Islam Makhachev. And he's doing it with this really methodical strategic approach. He's giving Islam props for his showing at UFC 322, which demonstrates class, but then he drops this fascinating question that cuts straight to the core. He needs to know whether Jack Della Maddalena just had a nightmare or if Islam is genuinely operating at that elite level he displayed that night. It's actually a fair point when you really examine it. Shavkat Rakhmonov stated, and these were his precise words, "I believe Islam delivered an impressive performance at UFC 322, but I need to discover whether Jack Della Maddalena simply had a bad night or if Islam is actually an elite competitor and as skilled as he appeared." That's exactly the hungry mentality you expect from a legitimate contender. On the flip side, and this is where the drama really heats up, Michael Morales is absolutely dying to fight Islam Makhachev. And brother, this dude is holding nothing back. He's making it abundantly clear that he's going to speak his mind and has zero intention of dialing anything back, which is honestly refreshing to see. He plans to win Makhachev's respect. And here's the wild part, through his grappling or striking skills. And he wants to accomplish this with Khabib sitting ringside, right there in Islam's corner. Morales admits he's genuinely pumped for that scenario, like he's craving that kind of intense pressure. Michael Morales declared, and you can sense the fire in these words, "I understand Islam and his crew don't appreciate fighters like me, who aren't scared to be ourselves, so I'm going to make him respect me through my grappling or striking," right there in front of Khabib. And I honestly can't wait for it. That's the type of self-belief that either pays off magnificently or explodes in your face spectacularly. Carlos Predis is also revealing that he's catching whispers about Kamaru Usman potentially being lined up to challenge Islam Makhachev for the belt next. And in this game where there's buzz, there's usually truth. He suspects Makhachev is interested in that fight, partially because they work with the same management company, which is a smart business angle that fans don't always think about. These professional relationships absolutely influence fight negotiation. Predis expects the bout would be tough for Makhachev, recognizing that Usman brings legitimate threats to the table, but he still doesn't envision Usman getting his hand raised when everything's finished.
Expectations, would you like to see, Umar or Islam on that card?
I think if you're making in White House fight, it's have to be more American fighters. I think it's have to be more American fighters. It's very interesting. If Georgian fighter fight against Russian fighter, it's not interesting in front of White House. It's have to be something like American fighters represent their country and they fight against other guys. It seems like it's have to be like this. The way how I see it.
Meanwhile, there's massive buzz surrounding the UFC White House card. The anticipation is absolutely off the charts right now, especially since Donald Trump revealed there will be 8 to 9 title fights featured on it. Just let that sink in for a moment. 8 to 9 championship bouts on one single event is completely unheard of in UFC history. Supporters are thrilled about seeing Islam compete on that card, which totally makes sense considering his drawing power. Many people think it would be the perfect finishing touch if the UFC schedules Islam versus Ilia Topuria, which would create an absolutely epic lightweight battle. But here's where things get genuinely fascinating. Khabib totally opposes these concepts. His reasoning is surprisingly well thought out when you really break it down. He's stating that he doesn't want Islam Makhachev competing on the UFC White House card. His feeling is that this event should highlight American fighters representing their homeland. From his perspective, and the logic is solid here, a bout between a Georgian competitor and a Russian competitor wouldn't be the appropriate choice for that specific venue with all its cultural importance. He believes a White House event should feature American athletes representing their nation against international opponents, and that's exactly how he envisions the card being structured, with that patriotic element woven throughout it.
Я сказал, что не хотел бы, чтобы ты дрался на турнире в Белом доме. Вы с ним уже обсуждали эту тему?
Честно, еще не обсуждали эту тему. Кhabib иногда бывает говорит, что в Абу-Даби тоже особо не хотел бы, потому что бывает отвлекающих факторов очень много. Именно в Абу-Даби, может быть, даже в Белом доме то же самое. Первый турнир, мы не знаем, как что подойдет, но мы уже на таком уровне, что мы должны заранее все спланировать, все, что, например, тот же бой мой в Австралии. Много чего пришлось сделать по ходу боя. Много там моментов было, которые впервые в жизни мы столкнулись. И из-за этого был такой тяжелый бой. Из-за этого, может, и Khabib говорит, что Не знаем, как что будет. И особо не хочет там что.
Islam Makhachev reveals that Khabib doesn't want him competing at the White House event, and it goes beyond just symbolism or appearances. Based on what Islam says, it creates too many variables and possible complications that could genuinely affect his performance. Khabib believes specific venues bring additional pressures that can really mess with preparation in ways that regular fight weeks don't. Makhachev references his bout in Australia as a clear example of this situation, where he and his crew had to handle numerous unexpected problems during fight week, dealing with planning issues and situations they hadn't prepared for. This made the fight more challenging than it needed to be, considering just the opponent alone. He explains the White House event represents uncharted territory, something no one in combat sports has attempted before. Nobody understands how it will actually unfold on fight night, what the procedures will look like, what limitations might be in place. And Khabib simply doesn't want his team managing avoidable headaches that could potentially cost Islam his championship. It's that protective mentor approach where you remove any variables within your control.
А то, что дали это Гейчи, да, конечно. Не знаю, пусть люди, пусть организация обижается, но сейчас непонятные, все больше непонятных боев для меня. Я не знаю, я думаю, конечно, что Арман должен был драться за пояс. Но, не знаю, вот сейчас, если Арман, будем честны, Арман сейчас не подерется. Подерется Пинглет с Гейджи, кто бы из них не выиграл, подерутся с Тапурией. Это еще год должен Арман выстаивать. Не знаю. Тяжелое, конечно. Но у меня тоже было так же в карьере. Я 10 боев провел, чтобы добраться до пояса. 10 победных боев. Арман, наверное, надо чуть подождать, потерпеть теперь.
Speaking of frustrations, Islam Makhachev shows real annoyance with the UFC's current matchmaking choices. And you can sense this really gets under his skin regarding how the division is being handled. He's highlighting that whoever wins between Gaethje and Pimbale will jump directly into a title opportunity, while Arman Tsarukyan gets stuck waiting once again on the bench. He thinks the promotion is creating more fights that don't add up to him from a merit-based perspective. And he believes Arman truly earned the next shot based on his performances in divisional ranking. From his viewpoint, and this is what's especially maddening for everyone involved, this means Arman will remain inactive even longer than he already has, potentially another complete year before receiving his chance to compete for the gold. That's an eternity in a fighter's career, to just sit around while others jump ahead of you in line. MF belt in one incredible move.
Topuria, right? Because we'd love to see you unify the belt with Ilya Topuria if things go to plan at UFC 324. But do you believe that Topuria hangs around the division? Are you hoping you get a chance to unify the belt against him? Or do you think he might be going up to do this whole Islam thing potentially? Who knows, maybe at the White House or something?
I guess I don't really have an opinion. I mean, if he went up, I would just be the champion, which I would, I'm not going to complain about. But I think what that leaves open is the chance for me to get a rematch against Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira, get my belt, and get the BMF belt. And ultimately, that was the script I've been speaking into existence since the Fiziev fight. I thought I was going to fight Ilya in January, and then I was going to fight Max or whoever had to be Max or Oliver. Now they're fighting, but before it was just Max. I was going to fight Max on the White House card and then have both those belts.
Daniel Cormier equally believes Arman Tsarukyan has earned a chance at some version of the UFC lightweight championship. And when DC weighs in on these topics, the community pays attention given his background. He acknowledges that serving as a backup fighter and taking on Dan Hooker were moves to rebuild credibility with the company after whatever problems existed previously. But Cormier maintains, and he's really passionate about this position, that Arman has proven he deserves the chance to fight for a title based purely on what he's accomplished. Daniel Cormier stated, and you can feel the strength in his breakdown. Listen again. I understand it. But stepping in as the backup fighter, battling Dan Hooker, those are all moves toward rebuilding that trust with the organization to earn in a championship fight. I still think that Arman Tsarukyan should be competing for some version of the UFC lightweight title. Many people think he's the top lightweight on the planet, with Islam moving divisions. While Cormier clarifies he's not necessarily among them, there are plenty of people who think that Arman deserves a championship fight. He deserves a championship fight, DC emphasizes. Again, his fighting style creates problems for every single guy competing near the belt right now, Daniel Cormier points out that the BMF championship is being defended, with Max Holloway putting it on the line again, positioning him as a serious threat for the lightweight title moving forward. Cormier thinks Arman Tsarukyan stays a premier contender regardless of how January plays out, and he maintains that Arman deserves a title shot sooner than later. Daniel Cormier continued, expanding his point, there's going to be a champion come January. That champion will also be back competing sometime next year. The BMF championship is being defended. Max Holloway puts that thing on the line again. Now he becomes a realistic challenger for the lightweight champion. Arman Tsarukyan, I would assume he's either right where he was, or if we get past January. I'm not sure if he'll be further back than he was. I think it's insane. He repeats, I think it's insane. This man is the #1 contender and has to receive an opportunity. Now regarding the BMF championship specifically, Justin Gaethje is eyeing a rematch with either Max Holloway or Charles Oliveira to capture that BMF title for himself. He thinks that if Ilia Topuria moves up in weight, which has been discussed, it would clear the way for him to face Holloway or Oliveira again, and potentially claim both the lightweight championship and the BMF belt.
O UFC não é um jogo, né? Você tem que aprender a jogar com ele, senão você vai ficando pra trás. Vamos voltar um pouco. O Topuria tá passando um momento ruim da vida dele ali, e ele pediu um momento de poder ficar, né? O Topuria pra poder ficar fora. Então a gente tem aí 2 caras que vai lutar pelo cinturão em janeiro. Interino. Né? Interino. E aí, 2 meses pra frente, eu luto pelo BMF. Eu acho que, com todo o respeito do mundo, eu vendo muito mais do que os 2 que vão lutar pelo título, tenho muito mais carisma do que os 2 que vão lutar pelo título. Então, querendo ou não, eu já entro com o pé com força ali na beirada. O Arman, pra mim, era ele que ia lutar pelo título. O interino ou o linear, um dos 2, na minha mente ali. Porém, eu não sei o que acontece que não colocaram. Então, querendo ou não, eu acho que eu vendo muito mais do que o Arman. Então, se eu vencer, não. Eu vou vencer, vou fazer uma grande luta e eu vou vencer essa luta. E sendo uma grande luta e eu vencendo, eu acho que eu estouro a bolha e eu sou o próximo a disputar o título de novo.
But Charles Oliveira has also locked his sights on another title fight, and the Brazilian is starving to return to championship glory. He thinks that beating Max Holloway would put him right back in title contention without any debate. He claims he creates more buzz than the 2 competitors fighting for the interim championship, which is a confident statement, but not unreasonable, given his finishing skills and popularity with fans. He guarantees an incredible performance, the type of display that reminds everyone why he's among the most lethal lightweights alive. If he wins, he believes it will cement his position as the next challenger, and honestly, that reasoning makes sense considering what he's accomplished.
To be honest, because I think I'm going to knock him out. So people won't expect that. People think I'm just going to try and grapple and take him down when I'm not. I'm going to come out and I'm going to put it on.
Expecting an early knockout.
On another note, Paddy Pimblett claims he's planning to stand and bang with Justin Gaethje, and if you understand anything about Gaethje's striking power, you realize that's an incredibly risky game plan. He thinks he'll finish Gaethje, which is the level of confidence you either genuinely possess or have to fake extremely well heading into a fight like this. He says most observers expect him to focus on wrestling, which is logical given his skill set, but that won't happen according to him. From his perspective, Gaethje won't survive past the 3rd round, similar to how the Michael Chandler fight went down, where Gaethje got finished. That's a huge prediction, considering Gaethje's toughness and track record.
He's about 65, you know what I mean? He's got a full head of grey hair. He beat Dariush. He didn't beat Charles Oliveira. A lot of people didn't think he won that fight. On his way out to the cage, he punched the fan. Got banned. UFC probably had to pay a big fucking fee for the fella not to sue him. He then got his title shot and, I've got a bad back. Fucking got beat by back pain when really he probably just couldn't even make weight. Sits out for fucking, 11 months. Gets offered the fight in the meantime against Gamrot, says no. When, if I ever got offered the fight against someone who'd beat me, I'd be taking that fight immediately. Then fights Dan Hooker, headbutts him at the weigh-in. No, so like nearly ruined another main event. Like, you can understand why he's not in that position. And as much as I like Dan Hooker, lad, he's sound. He's shit. He can't grapple to save his life. He couldn't grapple if his Mars life defended on it, lad. You know what I mean? If I had that guillotine wrapped up on arm, he's going unconscious.
Paddy also took shots at Arman and explained why he believes the UFC made the correct choice by passing on giving him the title opportunity, which is definitely going to stir up some drama. Paddy suspects Arman wasn't really hurt at UFC 311 and created excuses because he couldn't make the weight cut which is a serious allegation if accurate. Paddy also calls out Arman for refusing the fight with Matesh Gamrot, who has defeated him before, implying that Arman is cherry-picking his opponents. In Paddy's opinion, these actions frustrated the boss, Dana White, and he's handling it correctly by teaching Arman how the UFC operates and what's demanded of title contenders.
Arman Tsarukyan wants to help you train for Paddy Pimblett. Did you see that? He wants to offer his services to you.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I would say that from my perspective, that was more of him trying to go against Paddy rather than help me. But I'm not gonna go and start making drastic changes in my training camps when it comes to getting ready for these fights. Now, I trust the team that I have. I will bring in training partners, but ultimately, I'm not gonna bring in guys that I'm probably and possibly gonna fight in the future. I got nothing against. I mean, he'd be a great training partner, but ultimately, I might have to fight him one day. So that'd be not smart.
Justin Gaethje responds to Arman's Tsarukyan, offering assistance before his bout with Paddy Pimblett, and Gaethje is reading the situation carefully. He's implying it seemed more like Arman positioning himself against Paddy rather than genuinely offering training help. He mentions that while Arman would be an excellent sparring partner given his abilities, he can't overhaul his camp this close to fight night. Additionally, potentially facing Arman down the road would make training together foolish from a tactical perspective, since you'd be revealing your strategies.
Well, I'd love to rematch, and get them wins back on like Islam Makhachev or Ilya Topuria, but I'm pretty real with it. I understand that, I can't just call for a champ fight right now. I know I've got work to do in my division. Being a champion is a responsibility, and I take that serious. I know I've got guys in my division, and I don't want to hold up the division. So I want to do what I need to do, and then you never know. Maybe after what I said I'm planning on doing in Sydney, Feb 1st, go do that, and then maybe have the turnaround, and then get another victory over undefeated guy. Maybe that's, I think that's fair enough to be calling for maybe a champ fight then. But
Alexander Volkanovski stays committed to becoming a dual-weight champion, which has been his goal for years, and pursuing rematches against Islam Makhachev and Ilya Topuria, the two fighters who've recently beaten him. He admits he can't demand a champion versus champion fight right away, showing he gets the political side of matchmaking. But he explains that after dominating Diego Lopez impressively, and possibly another unbeaten challenger following that, it might be realistic to campaign for those marquee matchups. He's constructing his arguments step by step.
Will this be your last time in the octagon?
Yeah, I'm seeing that everywhere as well. I don't know where that come from. No, it's not. It hasn't been planned to be my last fight. So you don't need to really worry about that. I think you're going to just take it as it goes from here on, but there's definitely no plans of that. My plans are going out there, and as I told you, not taking too much damage, going out there, really setting a statement, and make it, be really impressive in there, and then maybe get a quick turnaround. I think you've got a couple of other guys as well, like Movzar, Lerone Murphy. They're undefeated and all that, so they're, for the legacy, they look like they might be pretty good as well. So we'll see what happens. This one, do this in Sydney, put on a show, but again, definitely no plans for that.
Alex Volkanovski also makes it clear that he has zero plans to hang up the gloves anytime soon, despite some speculation following his recent defeats. He's targeting fighters like Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evlov, which would create intriguing stylistic puzzles. He mentions those fights would benefit his legacy, adding quality victories over elite, undefeated competitors, and they represent solid tests that would challenge different elements of his skill set.
Well, I called for Movzar straight after the fight. Then I knew he was going to be fighting. Then he pulled out. I knew he was meant to maybe postpone, and then he didn't take it. And I'm like, well, there goes your opportunity. So that wasn't long before I knew that wouldn't happen. That's the thing, man. Like, I feel for him in a sense where I know he definitely deserved. That's why I called for him. But I totally understand how this game works. You can't be that guy. You got to be the guy that's willing to fight anyone, anywhere. Put your hand up.
Alexander Volkanovski shows real empathy for Movsar Evlov losing his title chance, and you can tell it's sincere. He remembers campaigning for Movsar immediately after his victory over Diego Lopez, understanding that Evlov had earned his shot through his perfect record and ranking. But when Evlov withdrew due to injury, the opportunity vanished and the division kept moving, like it always does. Volkanovski says he feels bad for him because Movsar legitimately earned the chance through his work, and losing it through circumstances beyond his performance control is brutal.
Lerone did do that. Lerone Murphy fought a guy at short notice in Pico and got a massive finish, so I thought it was going to be him in December. Then I knew the UFC were waiting for Jean Silva and Diego, so I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be one of these guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this is going to be a fun fight. And it was, and that's where they went with it. But it don't matter. We'll see what happens, whether Movsar and Lerone fight somebody or each other, prove themselves, and then I'll fight them straight after. So don't worry, they won't miss their opportunity. If they back themselves, take on another fight then, or wait. Whatever. But I mean, I don't think waiting is a good idea. As I said, take your opportunities just like Lopez did, and then this is where you'll be.
The featherweight champion mentions that it depends on whether Movsar Evlov and Lerone Murphy take other fights first, or battle each other to establish the top contender. He guarantees to fight them afterwards, no matter which matchup gets arranged, and he promises they won't lose their shot at facing him. However, he warns that waiting too long isn't smart in this business, because divisions evolve quickly, and chances can vanish if you're not staying active. Well, that covers everything from today's breakdown, and hopefully you've enjoyed this complete look into all the lightweight and welterweight madness unfolding right now. Drop your opinions about the current state of the lightweight and welterweight divisions in the comments below, because I'm really interested to hear what you think about these potential fights and who's earned what. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more compelling MMA content covering all the breaking news, fight breakdowns, and expert analysis from the universe of mixed martial arts.